All right, so we're diving into this Harborview Multi-Year Guaranteed Annuity,
MYGA.
MYGA. Okay, so it's designed to help grow your retirement savings, and it offers a guaranteed interest rate. And from what I've seen, Oceanview Life is, really wants to provide that sense of security that a lot of people are looking for when they're planning for retirement.
Yeah, and I think it's worth pointing out that Oceanview is not just some brand new company. They're working with Bayview.
Okay.
And Bayview's got 25 years in the business managing billions of dollars.
So they're combining this focus on retirement with some serious experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good start. But can we break it down even more? Like, what is a MYGA?
So MYGA is basically like a safe place to put your money.
Okay.
You make a one-time payment, and then you lock in a certain interest rate for however long you choose. You can do 2 years, you could do 10 years, anything in between. And the nice thing is, no market ups and downs. You don't have to worry about that. Your principal's protected,
Right.
and it grows at a steady, predictable rate.
So stability and a predictable return. I bet that's pretty appealing to people who are thinking about retirement.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And another advantage is that the interest rate, that's set when you buy it. So no matter what happens in the market after that, your rate stays the same for that whole time.
So even if interest rates drop after I buy a MYGA,
Yep.
I'm still locked in at that higher rate.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's the whole point of that guarantee. It protects you from interest rates going down, gives you that peace of mind when you're thinking about retirement.
I see. Now, I'm looking at the Harborview MYGA, and they have some interesting options for when you actually want to receive your money in retirement.
Uh-huh.
They've got life only, life with a 10-year period certain, and even joint and last survivor.
Oh, yeah, those are called your settlement options. And that's all about, giving you flexibility and control over how you want to receive your money. Life only means you get payments as long as you live. Period certain guarantees those payments for that set number of years, even if you pass away before then. And joint ensures that your spouse will continue to receive the payments after you're gone.
Wow. So it sounds like they've really thought this through for a lot of different needs and situations.
Yeah, and it's all about, customizing to you whether you want to ensure your own income or maybe you want to provide for your loved ones. There's different ways to set it up.
And I also noticed they offer free partial withdrawals.
Yeah.
So you're not totally locked in if you need some of your money.
Exactly. After that first year, you can take out up to 10% of your account value every year. And there's no surrender charges or anything. It's kind of like a safety net, just in case something unexpected happens.
Okay, so some flexibility, that's good. But you just mentioned surrender charges.
Right.
What are those?
So those are basically fees that you might have to pay if you take out more than that 10% before the end of your term. It's kind of a trade-off for that guaranteed rate. It just encourages you to, stick with your plan.
Gotcha. So if I need to access more than that 10%, I could lose some of my earnings.
Potentially, yeah. But keep in mind that they usually go down over time.
Okay.
The longer you have your money in there, the lower the penalty will be if you do need to take some out early.
Makes sense. Kind of like they're rewarding you for sticking with it.
Right.
Now, we talked about their investment expertise, but what about Oceanview itself? Are they reliable?
Well, they have an A rating from AM Best.
Okay.
And that's pretty much the gold standard in the insurance world. So it means they've been really thoroughly evaluated, and they're seen as very likely to meet their financial obligations.
Okay, so that's reassuring when we're talking about retirement, because
Yeah.
that's super important. But I imagine this is a lot of information. Where can people go to get help with all of this?
Yeah, annuities can be confusing. It's a good point. Having an advisor can make a big difference. I would recommend diversified insurance brokers.
They specialize in annuities, so they can walk you through it all.
Having an expert could really help.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So we've covered some of the basics today. The guaranteed interest rate, the different ways to receive your money in retirement, Oceanview's strong financial standing,
Yeah.
and working with an advisor like diversified insurance brokers.
Absolutely. And there's a lot more we can talk about with this MYGA,
Okay.
like tax-deferred growth.
Ah, yeah, that's a big one.
It's a good one.
Compound interest with a tax break. How does that work again?
So with a traditional MYGA, you don't pay taxes on what you earn until you actually withdraw it.
Right.
So your money's compounding faster because you're not giving some of it to the IRS every year.
So I'm earning interest on the money I put in.
Right.
And then I'm earning interest on the interest I already earned.
Exactly.
And all of that is tax-free until I take the money out.
Yep, that's the idea.
Wow, that could really add up over time, especially
Yeah.
for retirement.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now, earlier we talked about the surrender charges. Those fees you might have to pay if you take out more than you're allowed
Right.
before the maturity date. So, like, let's say you buy a MYGA and it has a 5-year term.
Right.
After a year, you can take out up to 10%.
Right.
No problem. But if you want to take out, say, 20% before the end of those 5 years, you'll probably have to pay a surrender charge on that extra 10%.
Okay, so they're trying to encourage people to stay invested for the long term.
Right, exactly. And those charges usually decrease over time.
Okay.
So the closer you get to that maturity date, the less you'll have to pay if you need to take some out.
I see. So it's not like I'm locked in forever.
Nope.
But I'm also seeing something called an MVA.
MBA, yeah.
Market value adjustment.
Right.
What's that all about?
Yeah, so the MBA can be a little confusing.
Okay.
It basically adjusts how much you get back based on what interest rates are doing. Like imagine interest rates go up after you buy your MYGA. You could actually get back more than you put in, even with the surrender charges.
Really? So rising interest rates could actually be a good thing.
It's possible, yeah. But it could go the other way, too. If interest rates go down, the MVA might make your withdrawal worth less.
So there's some uncertainty there.
Yeah, a little bit. The MBA basically brings a touch of, market sensitivity into what's usually a very stable investment.
Interesting. So I'm seeing the big picture now. Guaranteed interest rates, tax deferral, those are big pluses.
Definitely.
But the surrender charges, the MVA, those add some complexity that I need to think about.
And that's why working with an advisor can be so helpful.
Yeah.
Like the folks at Diversified Insurance Brokers, they can explain all those details so you can make the right decision for you.
Right. Finding that balance between stability, potential returns, and flexibility.
Exactly. And, we talked about their experience with Bayview Asset Management.
Right.
They've got a really impressive track record. They've been around since 1995, managing all sorts of assets in different market conditions.
So they've seen it all.
Pretty much.
It's not like they're new to this.
Nope. That experience can really give you peace of mind when you're thinking about a long-term investment like this.
Okay, so we've got Oceanview's focus on financial security, their A rating, and Bayview's expertise. But how does this Harborview MYGA compare to other annuities? What makes it stand out?
I think it's that combination of the guaranteed interest rates, tax-deferred growth, and those flexible settlement options. It's a pretty compelling package, and it's backed by a really strong company with a solid history of managing assets the right way.
It sounds perfect for people nearing retirement.
Yeah, I think so.
Who want to make sure their future is secure.
You're right. It's all about protecting their savings and making sure they have that steady income in retirement.
But it's not just about the features, is it?
No, it's also about their philosophy,
What do you mean?
Well, it's clear that they really care about their clients' peace of mind.
Okay.
They want to make retirement planning easy and stress-free.
Right. I'm getting that feeling too.
Yeah.
It's not just about throwing a bunch of numbers and jargon at people.
Exactly. They want to make it easy to understand, which is huge these days.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. MYGAs, the Harborview MYGA specifically, and how important it is to work with an advisor like Diversified Insurance Brokers. Anything else we need to touch on? I think we hit all the major points, but I'm still thinking about how all this fits into the bigger picture of retirement planning. You got your 401ks, your IRAs.
Right.
Where does the MYGA fit in with all that?
It's a really good question, and it all comes down to diversification.
Mhm.
Finding that right mix for your needs
Right.
and how much risk you're comfortable with. MYGA can be a great choice for those who are, really looking for safety and predictability with their retirement planning.
So it's less about trying to get the highest possible returns and more about protecting a part of your savings.
Yeah.
And knowing that you'll have a reliable income stream when you retire.
Exactly. Think of it like a foundation for your plan. You're not betting on the market going up. You're locking in that rate and making sure at least some of your savings are growing steadily.
So if I'm someone who's closer to retirement and not really comfortable with a lot of risk,
Right.
MYGA could be a good option.
It could be, yeah. Especially if you don't want to be worrying about the market going up and down all the time.
Right.
When you're trying to enjoy retirement, knowing that some of your money is safe and sound can be really comforting.
For sure. But what if you're younger and have more time until retirement? Does the MYGA still make sense?
It's worth thinking about for sure. Even if you have a long time, putting some of your savings in an MYGA can give you that base of guaranteed growth while you maybe take more risk with other investments.
So it's not like you have to choose one or the other.
No.
You can do both. Have some for growth and some for stability.
Exactly. It's all about finding the right mix for you. And again, that's where an advisor like diversified insurance brokers can be so valuable.
Right.
They can look at your situation and help you come up with a plan that gets you where you want to be.
Speaking of diversified,
Hmm.
they really know their stuff when it comes to annuities.
Hmm.
What are some of the advantages of working with them?
Well, they have a ton of knowledge and experience.
Okay.
They can explain the ins and outs of all the different types of annuities,
Yeah.
help you through the application process,
Yeah.
and make sure you're choosing the best one for you.
So it's not just about buying a product, it's having someone to guide you and answer your questions along the way.
Absolutely. They're on your side, making sure you understand everything,
Right.
the risks, the benefits, all of it, so you can feel good about your decision.
That's a huge plus. I think a lot of people get overwhelmed with financial stuff,
Mhm.
and having an expert there can really make a difference.
For sure, especially when you're planning for something as important as retirement.
I think we've covered it all. We did a deep dive into the Harborview MYGA, all the features, the good, the maybe not so good.
Yeah.
We talked about why diversification is so important, finding that balance for your risk tolerance,
Uh-huh.
and working with a trusted advisor like diversified insurance brokers.
For sure. And of course, we always say, do your own research,
Right.
ask questions, and make sure you're 100% comfortable with any decisions you're making.
Couldn't agree more. Retirement planning is a personal thing, and what works for one person might not work for another.
Absolutely.
The key is to get informed,
Yes.
make choices that make sense for you,
Uh-huh.
and get some help from the experts when you need it.
That's it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you've learned a lot and found it useful.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time, keep learning and keep exploring.